scrappy friends, welcome to my double vision layout series where I make double page spreads with just different types of inspiration to start off with. So I've been liking doing this intro thing so you can kind of get an idea of where my thoughts are, what I'm thinking, what I want to do. So I am going to be scrapping these photos. I have no idea if I'm going to use all of them. And yeah, I don't know if all of them are going to end up. As you can see, I mean, I have some similar photos. I just like just some fun photos. There's some smaller ones and then some bigger ones. So I'm using these, right? There's quite a bit. I think there's 10 photos. That's a lot to put on one page, on a double page. Okay, so what I was thinking about doing this week for inspiration is, and this is my first layout album that I've made. So all the layouts in here are pretty much mostly were done at the beginning of my scrapbooking career. And so they're mostly simple, not a lot of embellishments, and I used a lot of inspiration from like scrapbook.com. So my thought was to go back and scrap lift myself from what I had scrap lifted or whatever online. So as you can see, I have like, this is a circle that's not even, and there's photos here. I probably wouldn't do this because one, there's not that many photos, and with all those photos I probably wouldn't get them all on. I'm definitely not going to be doing this, but this is one that I seen on scrapbook.com, and they had it all the way across, and the paper was lined like grass and stuff. I really enjoyed doing this one. This one was really fun. My daughter helped put the stickers on. So my thought was to do something like either like this one, though this one only has 5 photos, so I don't know if I could get it to be like that. These ones were done at the beginning, but they're not the same. Like, that's not a double page spread. So, but I also remembered seeing this one, and I really liked kind of how this one is, how it has a big piece and then a smaller piece, and then a bigger piece of this one and a smaller piece of that, and then a strip here that's different, and some other elements that are different on this side than this side, but having some similar things. So I'm thinking about doing either like this one. Now this only has one picture on this side and a few pictures on this side. So once again, we'll have to see how everything goes. This one also has a lot of photos in it. It's kind of, it was supposed to have, I think, more photos. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one had 7. This one was really cute, but I know I won't be doing it. So also I did one like this, and this was basically, I just turned it. So one side, as you can see, one side, it's the same, but it's just kind of turned. So I won't be doing this one. All right. Yeah, so my thought was to do either like this one or like this one. I really liked how that one turned out. I mean, I could definitely do one like this. The thing is that the photos that I have, would they cover it up? Because could I put the title, you know, how would the title work with this? So that is the key, right? So I definitely want to scrapbook myself, but I'm thinking I want to do this one because I really liked how this one has the elements. It's similar, but it's a little different, and I kind of like that. one thing I know that I'm going to do is use the collection from Pretty Little Studios, from it's the Pretty Please collection, Here Comes the Sun, or Here Comes the Sun collection from. So I have some of these bigger ones, and I know that there's like watermelon elements in it. It's nice and bright. So I definitely want to use this collection. And then I have some smaller stuff too. Some of the smaller sheets. The 6x6. So I'm definitely wanting to add this, some of these in here, and with this. So with that said, I'm going to have to find paper that is similar, right? But different. So, because that's not going to be able to cover. Like, I can do some of them if I cut them a little bit. So we'll see. I probably will be adding some more stuff to what I add. But, yeah, so we'll see exactly how this turns out, right? I definitely know I wouldn't be able to do like a grid style like that. And I am going to do, I think my next one, I'm going to do more of a grid style. So, though I do really like how this one is laid out. How it has a big piece here, like a square here, some layered strips, and then this is mirrored. So it's the same thing, but it's mirrored off this way. The only thing is that this last layout that I did had a strip up here. So, I mean, and I can always tweak it so it's a little different. So we will see what I end up doing. But that's my thought process going in, and I really like to have an idea just kind of going in doing these, because when you're doing something that's so big, you really want to have a plan. And like I said, I may not use all of these. I may only use maybe like 7 of them, like 6 or 7, and then just do another insert or something that has the rest of the photos. But that's my plan, and I hope you guys enjoy this process as much as you've enjoyed the other processes. I really thought it would be fun to just do something that I already did. Hey, my scrappy friends. So I am starting this layout. I decided to use this paper right here, and this is from Dear Lizzie's documentary collection. So this was what, a couple collections ago, something like that. I loved this collection. I think this is my favorite collection from Dear Lizzie, though I don't have all of the new one. So this new one, and this new one is pretty good too. But I love this paper. This is one of my favorites. I actually had bought more, so thankfully I have 2 sheets. I'm going to be backing this on white cardstock. I had thought about either just using full-blown white for my background and then doing some smaller layers. But then I decided that it would be a good idea to use almost a full sheet of paper that's patterned, because one, I used to do that kind of stuff all the time, and also it's really stretching myself because I use a lot of white cardstock just on its own a lot of times anyway. So, and a part of this series for me is really stretching myself and doing something a little bit different. So I am trying to scrap lift myself. I'm using that one that had the giraffes on it. So if you remember, just not too long ago, I showed you 2, and one had a sea life part, or a Sea World layout that I said that I thought I might do, and then there was one that had giraffes on it, and I'm going to be using that. One side has some strips going horizontal and the other one has the strips going vertical. So I'm going to do that. At this point, I'm not really sure if that's the route I'm going to go or if I'm going to kind of switch it up a little bit. I'm kind of just taking it as it goes. So I just cut a very little teeny tiny bit off of 3 of the sides so that it pretty much can be flush. And now I'm trying to decide what I want for my next layer, how big I want that next layer. On the original, it was green cardstock and then a pretty good size square, maybe 10 inches, if I had to guess. And so I'm just kind of marking. I decided that I was going to go with this paper from We Are Memory Keepers. It has a really nice light feel to it still. It's watercolor, so it kind of goes along with that Dear Lizzie paper. And I know that my layout is about watermelon. It's a watermelon picnic. My kids decided that they were going to eat watermelon. It was really hot that day, and so I let them have watermelon outside and they loved it. And so I grabbed my camera and I took tons of shots, and I figured, why not use them all? Right? Because the whole point of this series is to get tons of photos on a layout. Not just to do a double page spread differently, but to also actually use photos. So I'm going to try to use a ton. I'm going to see if I can get all of them on here. At this point, I'm not really sure exactly, and I'm okay if I don't get them all. But I am very surprised and impressed because I actually got all 10 on there. I will say that I think part of the reason why I like to not use as many, because I don't want so many photos that it's hard to focus on the little details, and I'm a detail person, so that is the only thing about this layout that I will say is not my favorite part, is that there's so many photos that I feel like to get the details of what was going on, you might miss them. So that is the only part. And I know that a lot of people would say, but you can see all the little bits, all the little details that lead up to this whole entire thing being. So I very much get why this is really a fun way to scrap, how you can get as many photos as you can on there, and you really get that whole story from that moment, that experience. So, I mean, and I think this is the one fun thing about scrapbooking, is that you can do it either way and still tell your story, right? So I'm playing around with how I think I'm going to want these photos. I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll do photos one way, the other way. Actually, I don't mind it that way. I took 2 of the photos off, and this is where I'm thinking, oh, I could actually do, but then I'm like, hey, maybe if I layer it like this, I could actually get maybe all of those on there, and then if I play around with this, I can actually get all of them on there. I decided to cut that down to a 4x4 because there is a lot of wasted space, and it's not like some of the pictures that are on there that are 4x6 that are kind of blurry, and I really feel like kind of add to the picture. Like, it's really nice to see that. The open space on that photo, I think, kind of took away from it. So I'm taking a little bit of that dot paper and I'm going to put it up at the top, because if you remember, on the original there was strips of paper at the top. I am going to put something down at the bottom, but at this point I didn't realize that. So I popped everything up on foam, and I didn't tape that because it's kind of boring. I just took regular foam from from the dollar store. And so, okay, so here are my layers. I found this blue paper, that blue dot paper. It's from a paper pad. I don't even know what it's from.
It's an older pad. And then that paper right there has ice cream and watermelon on, and then that dot paper also that's from the Pretty Please Here Comes the Sun collection from Pretty Little Studios, and it's perfect. There's watermelon on it, so it's perfect for a watermelon layout. But I really wanted to keep a lot of the patterns pretty simple. That black and white is really bold, and obviously the dot paper is bold, and then, even the watermelon paper is really bold because of the color. So I knew that I didn't really want to add too many more layers. I think I could have added one more, so I'm adding this gold triangle washi tape. It's mostly clear, or like a really thin transparent, maybe just a little bit of white. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll stick that there, and then I decide not to. It will end up going down at the bottom so that you get that mirrored, some of the papers from both sides kind of connecting, because I want it to feel like one layout, but I really felt like if I use too much pattern, and I know I use a lot of pattern anyway, but I felt like if I used too much pattern, it was gonna just take over the layout, and I really wanted to keep it kind of simple in a way. And of course I say that and then just wait till I get to the embellishments. It's not super simple, but that's okay. So I'm working on getting this side worked on. So I took that wood grain from the other side and I put it on this side, and then I have a little bit of that blue from the other side as well. So I'm just taking some of the papers and mirroring them on the other side. Now, as you notice, I didn't take that pink paper and put that in because I just felt like it was going to be too much by adding it to the other side. I do, however, take this paper and add it to this pink side. Yeah. I don't know if that was really necessary, but I felt like I wanted something that also was kind of going to continue through, because I am trying to have a good flow. I mean, I don't know. The flow isn't the best, and maybe if I had looked at the original layout that was inspired by the one that I made, originally, but I didn't take that extra step to do that. And I don't think that's necessarily necessary, right? That was a lot of S's here. Because I mean, really, it's just my take on something I had already created. So, I mean, and I'm sure I took quite a bit of liberties anyway with what I did, because I have a hard time sticking to the rules, which is why this has different patterns, not on the same sides, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll do another one where I really try to use the same papers. I think the hard part is that I don't buy a lot of two of the same kind of papers. So either it has to be cut in half or something to make it work completely. And I think that was part of my problem with this, is that a lot of that Pretty Little Studio paper was either an 8x8 or a 6x6, and that made it really, really hard to have it on both. So I did add the washi tape to the top and the bottom. So my head is going to start coming into play here. I am sorry. I think for the most part you can see really what I'm doing, but I was starting to add the embellishments, and so I stood up to do this so that I could get a little bit better of a view. I don't know. Apparently standing up gives me a better view. The whole, extra 2 feet that it goes from sitting to standing, because I'm not very tall. But I want to use a lot of the die cuts from Here Comes the Sun collection because they're really fun, they're really bright, they go with the theme, they're summery. I do use a lot of the pink paisley stuff because some of the stuff that I have left over is in nice and bright colors. It's nice and summery once again. So I really wanted to use the sun. It's so cute. I just can't not use it. I mean, it was a hot summery day, so why not put a sun on there? I found that tag from Pink Paisley that says, just be you, and I put it right next to my daughter who's making a silly face. Kaden, she's so silly. I really wanted to be able to see the dynamics of my children enjoying the watermelon because they were just enjoying it. And of course, I used my DSLR for these photos, so they're really nice and fun. And the lighting on it, I really like that lighter color. It almost reminds me of Sue's fish, because when she takes pictures with her camera, I'm not sure what kind of camera she has, but her photos always look amazing, and they're so bright and clean looking, and I really like that look for photography. I don't always achieve it, but you know. So I'm working on the title, and those are Dear Lizzie block alphas from the summer kit or collection that she put out that I didn't really buy much of. And then I'm using these thickers from Amy Tan. I don't remember what they're called, but they're silver and like a white color, and they're perfect, and I love it. I like that the element of that I added quite a bit of silver from the Pink Paisley collection on here, because it's a little bit different than the gold. I love gold, but I just really like silver now too. There's just something about it. So I spelled out picnic, and of course I had to finagle because I'm almost out of those stickers. And then there was this note to self tag, and it was perfect to put underneath to have like this little shelf. But I did feel like I needed something else. So in a minute, I'm going to get some other alphas and put Big Hit. So it says Watermelon Picnic, Note to Self, Big Hit. And so I'm kind of playing around with these chipboard buttons from Pink Paisley because the colors are really fun. They kind of add a little bit more of that blue color that I think I need, because there is, so yeah, here I go. I just add a lot of little pieces, and I really like the way that this turned out. It's just nice and fun and bright and summery. I love summer layouts. I don't know about you guys. What is your guys' favorite time of the year, or event type photos, or you know, is there a certain time of the year that you like to make spreads for? Like, do you like summer? Do you like Christmas? Are those your favorite layouts to do? Birthdays? I have the hardest time doing birthdays. I'm not gonna lie. I have like one layout about birthdays, and I have tons of photos, but they're not, I think the reason why I don't like birthdays is they're really hard. But anyway, so I'm gonna add some clouds on this side because I have clouds and a sun on the other side. I don't end up adding a sun. Do I add a sun? Oh, I remember I added a flare that was a sun over on that side. And that little puffy sticker said awesome. I just thought, I don't know. Apparently I needed something on that side. I think I maybe got a little carried away. I mean, in a good way. So down at the bottom, that one says most favorite. And then I just added a watermelon piece to that. And I put another chipboard button on that other side. I have another chipboard button. I try to put it there, and then I decide, and I try to put it there. I will end up taking it off because I don't mind it there actually, but I ended up putting a flare button there. So where that piece is, see, because I'm like, oh, I can add a flare, and I add a flare up at the top near that refreshing. I'm not sure I really like it there. I'll probably keep it because it'll be a pain in the butt to take up now. And I'm one that if I stick it down and it's gonna be a pain in the butt to take up, I usually leave it, because in the grand scheme of things, of life, right? I'm probably not going to remember that I didn't like it there. I mean, I might, and if it really bothers me the next few times that I look at that layouts or the album, and I think I need to, but then, like I said, if I ruin the picture, then I have to print off another picture, and that's not fun. So the last few things that I'm going to add is I added some felt clouds from SpiegelMom Scraps, and I'm going to add some of her new sequins, Let's Be Mermaids, and there's a couple of other sequin packs that I use. I'll make sure I put those in the info box below so that you can see where you can find them if you like them. And I'll have my code if you want to use them. Use my code in the store too. But I just like them. They're just so much fun. I love sequins. I could use sequins all the time. So they're like my enamel dots. I like enamel dots too, but there's just something fun about sequins. So I try not to go crazy, but I add a few. And that's about it, guys. So I hope you guys are really enjoying this series. It seems like you are. I'm enjoying doing this series. I still have a few more layouts at least that I'm thinking about doing. So I know I want to do at least 6, but I'm thinking I might be able to get more. So let me know if you want me to continue after the 6, or you want me to try to do another kind of series. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this series, and I wouldn't mind doing a few more, or like maybe 10, I don't know, 9, something like that. But anyway, so just let me know in the comments below what you think, and I will see you guys next week. Don't forget to check out my channel and see all the other good stuff, and my blog for other stuff that I'm working on during the week. I will see you guys next week. Bye.